Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm frozen. Is it playing the commercial? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. I'm in a circle. I'm in a cute little bubble. If you are here to know what are the predictions for the election, I have my notes sitting here, so I'm looking to the side. I'm going to give it to you. That is what I promised. If you are new, please subscribe, join the family. Okay. I am doing current events all the time. I even do celebrities, pop culture, more of the political side, a little bit more serious. But when culture mixes with the politics, we got some judge here. I do current events as well, and I tie it to astrology. What is the vibe in the sky? Tied into what is happening in our world, which is all connected because God created us, right? Why wouldn't He have it all be connected? Anyway, so back to what we're here for, and we are here for the politics. So let's get started. First, I want to tell you what the ballots mean when you're looking in astrology. What are you looking for? Just for people who are new or don't know astrology, or maybe you love astrology just as much as I do, so you like to talk about these things. So first of all, I do want to say that when you're looking at ballots and you're looking at astrology, you want to look at the 12th house, you want to look at Uranus, or you want to look at Neptune. Now, Uranus, first of all, is all about the people, right? It is about rebellion, innovation, sudden changes, breaking free from the status quo. Okay, it's about collective movements. It's about social change, democratic process. You get that when you have Uranus. Very humanitarianism, social justice, and reform. That is what you have with Uranus. Now, I do want to say, while we are having the day of the election, let me see. Uranus is going to be retrograding. I'll discuss that a little bit more. But it is in 25 degrees. That is an Aries degree. Aries usually means something new. That's just a little tidbit to add on to the prediction. So it's something new, it's something beginning, a starting, self energy, individual. Yeah, I do want to say that Kamala has an Aries moon. Okay. If I could do points here, I would be doing points, but I didn't edit this. This is a unedited video. Okay. Tim Watts has a sun and Jupiter and Mars in Aries too, just so you know. Okay. Anyway, but back to this Uranus is retrograding, and I will talk about the vibe in the sky in a minute. In regards to ballots and voting, it's all about redoing and rethinking, and maybe even slowing down some stuff. There might be something really revealed during the election that can happen. Technology, Uranus is about technology as well. There could be some technical problems like recounts, some challenges, or some audits. Maybe this isn't fair. What are the voter rights? All that, old debates that are reoccurring over and over again, because that is what retrograde means, just constantly redoing, or decisions that maybe need to be made, or maybe there's a political shift, or the voter turnout could be a little funky. Okay. I just want you to know, are the support of something. It's really about the voters and rebellion. Maybe there's some strikes happening. I don't see that happening, but I'm just telling you what Uranus retrograding means. Okay. Now it's in a sign Taurus. So Uranus, when it was in the sign Aries and we were voting, that is when they first introduced the AirPod. Okay, the AirPod, not the AirPod. Oh my gosh, the iPad with voting. Now, it may not happen in your area. It happened around 2012, and that was when they first voted on iPads. It didn't. I don't think that happened in California, but the starting of it happened, and it's in the sign Taurus. Taurus is not very comfortable in Uranus already, because Uranus is like, oh, let's change, let's think outside of the box. Taurus is like, I want traditions. What are you doing changing? It's a very fixed sign. It's very stubborn. It's about tradition. And now you have innovation meeting tradition. Stability, consistency is Taurus. Conservative, practical, very traditional. also wants tangible results, okay? And it's has attachment to the tangible results, and it's very reliable. And Uranus is revolution, sudden change, sudden upheaval, sudden prizes, surprises, okay? Disruption, forward thinking idea, okay? And now you have Uranus in its fall sign, in the sign Taurus, and this thing could be an unexpected traditional event. I don't know what that means, but I'm just telling you that it could be something that is very modern, yet that is outdated or rigid with something that's modern. I just want you to put the two together at the same time as retrograding. So something that's very conservative is something that's from the past and it's redoing in a very modern, out of the box way. Okay, I just want you to understand that. On a side note, Uranus in the sign Taurus is why we have all these money problems, the economy and the stocks going up and down. Yeah, that's what you have. But Uranus in the sign Taurus retrograding, we have modernization of a traditional voting system that could be happening. Maybe there's a shift in digital or alternative voting methods. We already are voting, so I don't see any of that changing. But I do want you to understand that Taurus doesn't want the change. Uranus wants to change and it's retrograding. Okay. So there could be focus on tangible or securing some voting methods. There's going to be something in this theme happening while we're voting. I just want you to understand. Taurus is also very conservative. It doesn't want to, well, I'll just leave it at that. It's conservative. Okay. So, oops. Voters might be influenced maybe with the economy, with the financial stability. What can candidates give me on a tangible result? That could be happening, okay? But yeah, there's going to be some reviewing, some recounting, maybe some reconsiderations of the electric system, of the system that we're using, of this new system that we're using. It could be a period where there is some security flaws, some hacking at risk, some integrity issues. These things could be happening. Or maybe there's a low turnout. Maybe there is surprise, no one's coming to vote. I'm just telling you to expect the unexpected, but it's something regarding tradition and it's a cycle that is repeating or something from the past. Okay. Yeah. What do I have in here in my notes? Let me see what else we have here. Okay, so Neptune is also involving voting. Okay, Neptune's in the sign Pisces. It's going to be retrograding. We'll discuss that. I'll show that picture. But Neptune, in regards to voting, it's very, very emotional and very sensitive. Okay. Neptune, the reason why we look at Neptune for voting, because you are dealing with some secrets, you're dealing with illusions, you're dealing with the collective, you're dealing with aspirations, you're dealing with unity. There could be some misdirection and deception. There's also like a moral connection with Neptune, and the moral connection could be something that's dealing with love or compassion. There's also disillusionment. Okay. Neptune and Pisces is very heightened, it's strong on all those things that I said. So it's very compassionate. There's blurred boundaries when it comes to what's going on, meaning like confusion. Okay. Yeah, major sensitivity. People could be feeling inspired. The retrograding means that there could be some unhidden information that's happening, because Neptune does make things disappear and hide. Okay. And now it's retrograding, so it's not acting quite right. So maybe things won't be as hidden as we think. Maybe we're re examining the process. Maybe we're addressing some confusion or deception. Maybe there is some collective energy happening and that has to be redone. Just know that the RE words mean that it's either acting up, acting funny, or we're repeating some steps. Okay. That is what we have. And that is also Neptune in Pisces retrograding, which is also about voting ballots. So whenever you're looking at that, you want to look at those two planets. That makes a very big point here. Now, also what you want to look at is um, Saturn. Okay. And I'll discuss that. And then you want to look at, you can look at just look at the whole sky, the north nodes and the south nodes. Okay. So now I'm going to bring up the chart here and when I bring up this chart, I want you to understand. First, I want to talk about the election day. So I'm going to take Miss Kamala off, and we are just going to look at the election. The election is November 4th. This is about USA. Okay. Oh, I did say that we also look at the 12th house for things that are voting, because there are some secrets with voting here. Okay. So a lot of support worldwide, a lot of support around the world, a lot of beliefs and support on what you believe and broaden your horizons. People have a different perspective here when it comes to voting. A lot of thinking, conversations about voting. Okay, just so you know, all that is happening, and maybe there's secret conversations because we live in such a divided world right now. Even though I shouldn't be looking at this because it's not the time, but this is just an example of what it looks like when it's in the 12th house. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Let's look at the election, right? Now, Saturn is retrograding too. Saturn represents the government, just so you know, okay? Saturn retrograding during election period. I want you to know, first of all, I should have said this first. There's a lot of planets retrograding. You have Saturn retrograding, Uranus retrograding, Jupiter retrograding, Neptune retrograding. All these planets are retrograding. Don't look at the north nodes and the south nodes. They always retrograde. But 1, 2, okay, Chiron, maybe. Okay, 3, 4, retrograding. At the same time, Mars is pre-shadow phase retrograding. Okay, now Mercury pre-shadow phase starts to retrograde November 7th, 2 days after election. The pre-shadow phase starts to, okay? And then it will really start to retrograde on the 25th. I just want you to understand, this is the vibe in the sky. A lot of things not working naturally how it should be working. There's a lot of repeating, a lot of redoing, a lot of delays, a lot of confusion, okay? Now, when you have Saturn retrograding, you're reevaluating the system and the structure. There's uncertainty, there's confusion because you're dealing with Pisces, challenges with accountability, challenges with authority. Maybe you're focusing on what are the underlying issues here? What are the conspiracy theories? What are you guys hiding from us? Who are the hidden influences? That could be a thing, okay? Now, there could be a push because we are dealing with Pisces, and I want to explain it all. There could be a push about spirituality or religion, or maybe a compassionate leader that could be reevaluated or redone. But this is definitely some delays. Now, Saturn is already taking things a long time. Now it's like, is it even going slower? That could be happening. Okay. I discussed Neptune retrograding. I just want you to know also that could be a lot of misinformation, a lot of authority, because we have the Saturn in its sign Pisces too. Pisces, Neptune is ruling Pisces and Jupiter, and they're all retrograding. But I just want you to understand there's a delusions and confusion. A lot of that is happening. Okay. Also, too, I just want you to understand that this also represents endings of some sort. Pisces energy. When you have two major planets in a sign Pisces, there is an ending of something, physical and spiritual. Okay, just want you to know. Okay, now I did talk about Jupiter retrograding. Now Mercury is the ruler of Jupiter, and Mercury there, when I first started astrology, I always thought Mercury has to be representing voting. And that's not necessarily true, because you are thinking there is logistics that you have to do with voting. So it does add a dynamic there. But the Uranus and Neptune in that 12th house really plays a big part to me, more with voting. But emphasis on reevaluating information with Jupiter retrograding. Okay. And again, Jupiter retrograding in Gemini. Ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and that's thinking, that's conversations, that's arguments. All that could be happening. Okay, some delays and frustrations, maybe gossip, maybe storytelling, abundance of news, a lot of news coming all over the place. Okay, maybe we'll have delays on the news giving us the answers of who's winning. I'm just telling you. But it also could be not just delays, but just reconsidering something, redoing something, changing your opinion, changing what you're saying. The media and the influence of media is going to have a big focus, and it's going to be not working the best. It may be a little shady, or maybe too much, just overdoing it. Okay, Jupiter makes everything bigger, and when Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, the gossip and the news could be worse than ever. Okay, just want you to understand. Gemini also is very what is the decision, and it's back and forth. It can never make its mind. Somewhat a little bit like Libra energy. Okay, very air. But you could be, maybe we could be getting some mixed messages. Maybe there is no transparency. That could be happening. Okay. Now, I did say Uranus retrograding. A lot of surprise, a lot of could be disruptions, could be a shift with the public, with the unity and people, reconsidering maybe the technology. And yeah, that could be happening. Hopefully, there are any riots. I don't see that, but I'm just telling you that. Okay. Now, Mars, I did mention, is in a pre shadow phase retrograding. It's not red, and that usually means retrograde, but it is in a pre shadow phase. So we can't depend on this planet to be acting the way we want it to act. Not only is it retrograding, pre-shadow retrograde, it is at its purest form in the sign Leo. 0 degrees is the purest form, and Leo is all about leaders. Okay, so now you have emphasis on bold leadership and strong personality. A lot of conflict. Mars is the planet of aggression and trying to achieve things. And the sign Leo, it's just like very argumentative. Okay, maybe voters are going to be very passionate. Maybe they're going to really focus on who they identify with, who is the strong person. There's a lot of national pride with this too, cultural pride, but a lot of clashing of the egos. Okay, power struggles, dramatic flair. Okay, drama for your mama. A lot of celebrities too with Leo energy. So let's see who's going to take the stage and be doing the most with this energy, but it's not going to be the best because it's pre-shadow retrograding. Okay. Yeah, so that is what we have. But a strong leadership. Leo does represent presidents. I do want you to understand. Now, that same day of election day, we do have the moon in the sign. Where's our moon? The moon will be in the sign Capricorn, and the moon represents the people. So people are going to be thinking about long term. They're going to be thinking about business. They're going to be focused, very cautious with their decision, a desire for order and accountability. The emotional part will be taken out when it comes to business and when it comes to our government. We are not emotionally involved. We are being very logical, practical is more the word. Okay. And we are thinking about the long term impact as a collective. So you do have that. But the emotional part is taken out when you have a moon in Capricorn, and it's all about the emotions of the government. Okay. Now, I do want you to understand that we did have an eclipse not that long ago on the 17th. This could still be affecting this energy here, because eclipse does take a 6-month time span. Now, the eclipse was in the sign Libra. That is about partnerships. Libra could also represent a woman. I do want you to understand that, versus the man. Okay. Now, let me see what else. Art could be focused on justice and harmony and having some balance. That could represent that too. Okay, so now we are going to look at the chart and the election day, and I'm going to put it with USA. Okay, so USA is on the inside here, and this is the vibe in the sky, the day that we are voting. And I have November 5th for the day that we are voting. If you guys wanted to know, let me make sure it's the right year. Okay. But I don't see anything too big on this day. Currently, the Democrats do represent the 11th house, and then the 4th house. Did I say 11th house? The 10th house. 10th house. And the 10th house represents the current who's in charge here, and the 4th house represents who's not in charge. Okay. Is it the 11th or 4th house? Why don't I know my notes on that? Anyway, but what I do want to point out is that Saturn, normally when you want to see if there's going to be a change in party, I do know that this works. Saturn will be changing signs. Okay, it's not changing signs. When we have our voting process, it will be staying in Pisces. And even when we have the inauguration, it will still be in a sign Pisces. Saturn represents the government. Usually when there's a change in presidency and the political party changes, that will change, and that is not happening. Okay, I just want you to know that. But far as like the energy of what we have here, I don't see too much. I'm so sorry that I did that. I pressed the wrong button. Anyway, but the 10th house often is associated with the government, the ruling party that has the power, okay? And the 4th house represents the opposition. So the 10th house, as we go and look here in America, the 10th house is in the ruling planet is Virgo. First of all, we have Neptune here, that could represent some deceptions and secrets, okay? Just so you know, whoever's in party in America, there is some deception and secrets. But who's the ruling energy here? And the day that we are voting, we have the well, I feel like that's not giving us much, but oh, well, actually it is, because if you're talking about this representing Republicans, because they're in charge right now, and the day that we're voting, they will still be in charge, right? And they are sitting pretty in that first house. It's all about them. That could be a big other point of saying that they are going to win. Not the Republicans, the Democrats, which Kamala is a part of the Democrats, so that means Kamala will win. Now, in the 4th house, we have some insecurity here. We have some pessimism, negativity, again, some confusion, which is not working with the secrets here of America, just so you know. But with that said, the ruling planet for the 4th house is Saturn, and it's sitting in that 4th house, and it just doesn't seem happy. Okay, it's not. Let me see if it has any sextile. Yeah, it's not working with the relationships of people. Here it's squaring that. That's not good. Yeah, so Saturn doesn't look like it's sitting too pretty. Let me see square. I mean, it is working great with the sun. At the same time, it's retrograding. That doesn't look good. Mercury is not retrograding the day that we're voting. It will be in 2 more days, but not as we're voting. So that is the day of the election. So again, another point for the Democrats and Republicans. We already see that. First of all, the energy for the collective is not working the best, but Saturn not changing a sign into another zodiac sign, that makes it seem like the government is going to stay the same. At the same time, looking at the houses that rule the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, Democrats look like they're sitting pretty, and it's all about them sitting here, okay? Just looking great. I'm trying to see if there's any. Sextile to the south node, releasing some things. There could be that. Yeah, working great with being in America's stage. That is also very positive. Yeah, it is quincunx. The north node, is it quincunx? No. Yeah, it just seems wait, sextile, square, trine. It works good with the north node. So yeah, obtaining things very positive for the Democrats. I keep wanting to say Republicans. I don't know. But it's not working great with sextile. It's squaring now. Saturn is squaring the ascendant exactly. That is not good. Okay, so it's like okay, this is America. This is what America represents, and you're having challenges here. Okay. Let me see if I see anything else. Also, if it squares that, it squares this square, but it is working with the ego here. Sextile square. It is positive with this. So there is that dynamic. Saturn, that is ruling the planet of the 4th house, is working good with the sun. The sun could represent leadership. Okay, so we do have a point there. So 2 points for Democrats, 1 point for Republicans. Okay. Now let me talk about let's just get on to Miss Kamala, okay? And we'll put her up here and let's see if she's going to win, even though I've already said several times what I thought. Okay. So her chart is on the inside, and the day of the election, we have that out here. Okay. First of all, let me just say that Kamala, she has the sun represents leadership. Okay. And she has a sun in Libra. She was born on a full moon. So she does have that opposition happening. Her mom did not get along with her dad, whatever that story is. Okay. But how she is outwardly, it always affects, doesn't really balance well with how she is internally, how she is at home. Okay. Being well balanced, being very charming and happy in the front, but emotionally she's aggressive. Okay, with that Aries. Now leadership wise, The sun is conjunct her Mercury. Now, this could be a thing. Conjunctions are good or bad, okay? But they're strong. So her having speeches and stuff could be the issue of what we see here. But the sun leadership is trining Saturn. So as a leader, she does have this working for her. Over time, it just gets bigger and better for her. Now the sun trining her north node, what she's supposed to achieve in this lifetime. And then that north node, where is her north node? The north here. Yeah. Oh, and it's conjunct her AC. I forget. So yeah, how she is publicly, and this is what she's supposed to achieve. It's going great, and giving speeches, being out there, having this duality kind of energy. Yeah, all of it works great. So, and the sun also trines her ascendant as well. So leadership and looking like a leader is what you get with that, because the sun does represent the leader. Okay. Now let me look at the day. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to tell you, Uranus in the sign Taurus is conjunct her Jupiter. Jupiter is good for her. Okay, Jupiter is working great, and now there's a conjunction. There could be a big surprise. This has been there for a minute. This is nothing new. But big surprises, but this is in the 12th house, so it's a secret. So we don't know about it. Okay, Neptune is sextile her Jupiter. This could be positive for us getting some compassion. She has to work on it though. It's not just handed to her. Pluto in Capricorn is in her 8th house, right? And it's trining. This is very, very positive. Her Jupiter in that 12th house. This is a lot of positive power here, abundance and growth with change and transformation and power. Okay, that is a major thing for her. Okay, now what else do we have? Jupiter in Gemini transits her first house, and it is conjunct. Okay, so Jupiter here in this first house, again, positive. This is all positive. This is all about Kamala. Everyone look at her. It's all about me. And then she has the planet that is very positive and abundant in that first house. Okay. And it's also trining her Saturn here. And that's very positive, because you're talking about the government, you're talking about long term, you're talking about responsibilities. And can she handle the responsibility? Yes. Okay. That is what it's saying. It's not my personal opinion. It is what it's saying. Okay. Now, one thing that I see that's bad the day of this election, which has been some energy for a good minute, is that, just because it's conjunct this, but it's opposing things that she has to let go. And there's something from her past she's not letting go. It's something that she's very comfortable with, and she needs to release it. And it could be something regarding some type of relationship. Yeah, maybe from another country or something. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, it's something big. And it needs to be released. Anyway, but the day of the election, it looks very, very positive for her. And let me see what else. Oh, her progress chart, right? So if we look at her progress chart, let me actually remove this and let me go to her progress chart real. So if we look at her progress chart, Kamala, she has her moon is in a sign Cancer. When you have the moon in Cancer, you're talking about really being Mama Kamala, right? Kamala is what you get. But we had a friend named Kamala, and we called her Mama Kamala. But they're saying that they call her Kamala Mama or something like that. I don't know. I've never heard that before, but I've heard it once. Okay. Anyway, but this is all about being about where you come from, your legacy, okay, your history, your past, your country, and the people who live in your country. So this could be about that family values and community and your support system, domestic abilities, leadership in that, emotionally involved in that. Now, her sun has progressed to Sagittarius. So now it's like it's all about being about the world and dealing with world events, global perspective, and being very optimistic, having some broad reaching goals, like being very like, you know what, I can do it all, I can conquer it all. Very positive. And even her ascendant has progressed to Leo. And when she's normally a Gemini ascendant, and now it's Leo. And this is all about the boss. Okay, so the boss, and the sun is sitting here in Sagittarius. Yeah, it's just abundant, optimistic energy for being a leader and a boss. Okay, so again, here are the points we have more for Kamala, and also she turned 60 this year. Her birthday is October 16th, or is it October 16th? Let me actually see. 20th, October 20th is her birthday. And when she turns 60, then first of all, I do want to say she has a night chart. So anytime we are dealing with Venus, then Venus is very positive for her. I want you to know that. And Venus is not acting up. It's actually one of the planets besides the moon, but the moon is very moody. That's not acting up. Pluto is out of retrograde too. So, but Venus is not acting up. So Venus is working great for her. Saturn is the planet that brings her doomsday. It is sitting here on top of this Chiron. No bueno with healing. There is something of healing, something very sensitive here. I'm quite we It's on stage, so I don't know what that's quite about, but it's also maybe secretive here. Just so you know. Yeah, but she's turning 60. So when you turn 60, which happens, what is today's date? In 4 more days, as I'm filming this, then you're talking about her chart ruler, and her moon is in her. Okay, what do I have here for her chart ruler? Actually, let me look at it too. Does that keep turning on? I'm so sorry. That is so annoying. Anyway, but in that first house, she has that this is what the first house represents when you're 60, okay? It's the first house. And when you have it at the first house, I mean, again, it's all about herself. This is the year when she turns 60. Me, okay? Now we want to look at Mercury, and when you look at Mercury, it is sitting here in our 6th house of power in the sign Scorpio, and sitting next to the sun. Okay, so there could be some sign on power and being harmonious and diplomatic. Could be happening, or her being a lawyer and all that stuff. That could be happening in this house of work, in this house of career, being diligent, sacrificing a service to others. That is what we have for this first year. Could be some health issues maybe happening. I wonder if we'll know about it, but that is what we have. Also, she has a nodal return. Does she have a nodal return? Let me see. This year, I have that in my notes. Let me see. Okay, sorry. She doesn't have a nodal return in for her perfection. I need to eat. Okay, you guys, I'm fasting. But what I do want to say, that is what we have for her perfection. So her turning 60, this whole year is about herself. And when you look at the ruler about herself, it is in the sign Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and it is sitting kind of pretty. I do want to say that Mercury is opposing that moon. So there is some emotional outbursts that could be happening. Here are some emotional discussions, of course, that will be happening if you are going to be the president of the United States. Other than that, I'm trying to see. Let me see. Sex house square. Trying. It does work with her career. Works really good with her MC. Another point for Kamala this year. Okay. Let me see. Sextile. It does sextile her home. That's great. And yeah, so that's what we have for her this year as she turns 60. Okay. Now, if we talk about when she lost, not when she lost, I'm sorry. If we talk about when she won, I just want you to understand her moon was in Gemini. The moon was in Gemini, and it was on top of her ascendant. She had that means the emotions of the people on top of Kamala, like everyone looking at her. So the people were looking at her because the moon represents the people of a country, right? Now she had a nodal return. This is what I was saying earlier, and that's in my notes. In my notes, why are they jumbled up? When they're typed up. I don't know why. Anyway, but she had a nodal return. And anytime you have a nodal return, that is when the that is when the North Node and the South Node is sitting back at where it originally started. And she had a nodal return when she won. And that means she was more fire or fierce to really get what she's trying to achieve in this lifetime. Okay. And also too, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, they were all sitting in that 8th house. And when you have it sitting in that 8th house, you're talking about a transformation of power, and her being reborn and her starting something with power, power struggles and power dynamics, obsession with power. Venus in Libra was in her 5th house. And again, Venus is very positive for her. And then Venus sitting in that 5th house, you're dealing with leadership too, because that 5th house could represent leadership. Okay. That is when she won. I find that those aspects were really good. I tried to see if we had anything kind of similar to that, because when you do have when you do look at the south and north node and you see if anything's changed with that, that does show a lot. And you do have that this north node, this south node is in the house that I would consider leadership, and it's about letting go. So that could represent this. But there is something starting within a group, within a team, or something for her future, and it's something new that's never been done before. So that could mean that she is not only was she the VP that's being released, but now she is going to be the leader of her party. That is what that could represent. I find that the North Node and South Node is really, really important to look at when you're trying to see if someone's going to get something or achieve something in this year or this lifetime. Okay. What do I have? What else do I have? That's pretty much it that I have for Kamala and why I think she's going to win. I don't know how many times to say that I think she's going to win. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to be a nice win. I just think she's going to win. I'm going to pull some cards for her, and let me see. I think I have a tarot spread here as I mix the deck. And I'll do some oracle. Okay, and let me mix this here. I am using the oracle deck that I'm using is the Black Moon Lilith. Okay, that is what we have. And so let's talk about her strength. Okay, her strength as a leader or her campaign. Ooh, it's the strength card. Whether you want to vote for her or not, is saying here that the strength is that she is strong, a leader, and that represents Leo. Let me see what the oracle says with that. This card here, if you see the picture of this card, there is a woman taking over a man, and then you see it's the Bloods and the Crips. You see, I call the Democrats and Republicans Bloods and Crips because I'm not part of that war. But you see that the woman is taking over. And it's like, yeah, I'm in charge here. I'm the woman in charge. That's how I feel because she's on top. Okay. So that is what we have. And the strength is that she has the power. The Democrats are taking over. That is what I personally see in this reading. And it's saying that the strength is that she's strong. She has a lot of pride. She's not giving up. Okay. Now, the weakness of her campaign is we have the Lovers in reverse. Now this is someone who has a lot of options, and maybe she doesn't have a lot of options. This is someone who's also, it represents Gemini, and there's communication. Communication is not the best, or maybe it's stuck or it's stopped or it's more internal. That is what we also have. And the options, she doesn't see that there's multiple options of something. And it's like there are people may be feeling limited, and maybe that's the weakness of this campaign. Like they were forced to make this decision other than having some options. Okay. Let me pull an oracle to see what we have. We have Soul's Ascension. This is about the sun. And it shines bright like the sun. And it makes me think that, yeah, like because of what happened to Biden, because she has a son in Libra, so it makes me think of her son, and that was her partner. Because that ended, maybe the Democratic Party or whoever decided on who was going to vote for Biden couldn't have a decision or a choice on who to pick. That was the weakness of her campaign. Okay, now let's see what the outcome is going to be. Okay, the outcome for Miss Kamala is we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. This is someone releasing. There's something about money here. Now, thinking about this Four of Pentacles, okay? This is someone who's holding on tight and now they're letting go. They're letting go of the control or letting go of something. They're not uptight. They're actually very flexible. Maybe it's a transition toward being open or flexible. There's definitely some money loss here. I don't know what that is. Maybe overcoming limited beliefs, a shift from the tangible things. But let's tie it into the oracle so we can see. Again, we have Eve. Okay. So the outcome is that we need to release the control that a woman's going to be in charge. I'm just going to keep it simple because that's what I see. Okay, so that is what we have for Kamala. I can't help but to see what I see. What do the people need to feel? I'll give you advice. If you don't want Kamala to win, or if you do want her to win, let me give you some advice. What does the card say? Everyone needs to focus on some small details here. This is someone who's working hard and focusing on the details. At the same time, honor your individuality. Check the fine print of Kamala. Listen to the words she's saying, seeing what policies she's bringing to the table. Don't just get glanced over by the laughs and her pleasantries and all that stuff, and focus on how does this affect me individually. I know we are worried about the collective, which is great, but it's not about being under a label. It's about what truly works for you. Instead of just focusing on the Democrats or Republicans, focus on what really works for you. Okay, so that is what we have for Kamala. I do think she's going to win. Okay. Yeah. So now let's do Trump, shall we? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait. Let me see. Tim Watts, I don't have a time on. So I'm just going to pull a card on Tim Watts here. Tim Watts is a little bit like not happy. God is giving him something and he looks a little bored. Okay. But he's not content with maybe being vice president. There is some endings going on with Tim Watts. Okay. This is Pluto. This could be a transformation of him having power. But either he's going to be born having power. I mean, not born. Either now the power is handed to him and he is going to win, or maybe there's an ending there of Tim Watts. But I'm just telling you what Pluto represents. At the same time, God is trying to give him something. He's not very grateful of it. I don't know what that is. It's something in regards to relationships. It could be in relationships to, we'll just keep it there. We'll just leave it at that. That is what, we'll leave that. We'll save that for community talk. Okay. I'll put that in my community reading. But yeah, that is what I have for Kamala. Let's move on to Trump now and see what we have for him. I'm going to actually pull his chart up and we're going to jump right to Trump and we're going to see what is it going to look like for Trump on election day. Of course, we already know how Trump is as a leader. If you guys forgot, because people are assuming that he's going to be Hitler, I don't know. I mean, maybe because what happened July 6th. What's that? June 6th, January 6th. January 6th. That maybe is a thing. But he was president, and I was terrified at first. I do live in LA. I thought a certain way. But now it is what it is. Okay. I do not feel unsafe. This is my personal opinion of him being president. I don't feel, I'm not going to say the same for Kamala because, and this could be because he was president first and the residuals affect her being in office. That could be a possibility. I'm not aware of things as much politically as I am about astrology. So there is that dynamic that could be a part of my unhappiness currently right now. At the same time, when Trump was president, I didn't feel unhappy other than COVID. Okay. So that is another part. It is what it is. No one's perfect. I actually did not vote for neither. So there is that. That is a whole nother story, but I did vote. Okay. Now Trump was born during the day. So he's different. Unlike Kamala, Jupiter brings him major abundance. Okay. Where Kamala, it was Venus that really gives her a lot, but Jupiter is bringing her a lot as well. And then Mars is the bad part. Now, I'm just going to tell you and cut to the chase. Mars retrograding in the pre-shadow phase is the biggest reason why I think Trump is not going to win. Okay. We already know how Trump is as a leader, so I'm not going to break down his chart. I do want you to know that he does have major Leo energy. So that energy that happened January 6th makes sense. He's not giving up. He doesn't want things to change. He likes it to be consistent. He wants to be the boss. So there is that. Now, and he's a Leo rising as well, with the Pluto, with the Mars in Leo, and a Leo rising. Woo, 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 woo. I would not want to be married to him, just so you know. Now, but Mars retrograding, this is the big thing. Let me tell you some other things. We have Jupiter in Gemini is conjunct his North Node, and it is conjunct his Sun over here. So we have big surprises, unexpected events. Okay, North Node, Jupiter, him trying to achieve what he needs to achieve in his lifetime is bigger than ever, and there's a lot of luck and abundance in it. So people saying, "Oh my gosh, he's so lucky, he's so blessed." This could be that Jupiter, him getting shot several times and it missing. Okay, Jupiter also sextiles his ascendant and his Mars. That's positive. I'm sure he does the work to achieve the things that he needs to achieve. That's great. Now, what isn't great is that no, but this is also great. Jupiter and Gemini also is trining his Jupiter in Libra. That's major abundance. So we'll give him a point that this could be winning. However, this is dealing with the house and this is dealing with communication. So it makes me think, like, is his partner winning or the woman's winning? Libra doesn't represent leadership to me. So I don't know how that would correlate with him running and winning for presidency in that third house of communication in his community. This could represent a party, his team, his group, his network of some sort. So that's positive, maybe with the Democratic Party, maybe with his campaign. All that is very good. But other than that, that's it. Now, Jupiter is in opposition of the moon, and the moon could represent the people, and this could be representing opposition of the South Node of releasing things from the past. It's like, you have done this, you are comfortable with this. That could be happening. Yeah, but there's something with the emotions, something with the people that's not quite going too well. Let me see if I have anything other. Yeah, just like overconfident maybe, or just very emotional, and this is what could happen during the voting process when he sees the results that could be happening. Just exaggerated emotions. Okay, he will be stubborn because he is a Leo, so you don't have to be predict that if you just know just that energy. And yeah, anyway, but the MC can indicate auspicious time of winning, and his MC is squaring the Mars. Okay, his MC is not going good with achieving things and being a leader. Again, negative point for Trump. Okay, and then also his MC is quincunx. Uh, Here we go. Mercury. So him giving speeches, not going to be the best. He won't be very optimistic when it comes to his career and him being on a platform. Is going to make him very uncomfortable. It makes me think he's giving a very uncomfortable speech of losing. Okay. In this sign in the fifth house of you're supposed to win presidency. Yeah, that might be not working its best. Now, if we look at Saturn, and Saturn is not as bad as Mars for him, but it is a negative planet for, it's doomsday for a lot of people. But Saturn, it's sextiling Uranus, but also his Saturn in Cancer is going to square Chiron. So there needs to be some healing here. And he's not quite doing the healing, or maybe there's a challenge with the healing. Let me see where his Chiron is. Here's the Chiron, and Saturn is squaring that. So there is some healing. This has been on here for a minute. Also, Saturn in Cancer. I said is this Saturn is squaring the Chiron in the sky. Sorry. But this Saturn also in Cancer is a quincunx Neptune. Makes me think there's some delusions or illusions when it comes to the government here, and he could be feeling that way with this whole voting process. Okay. Pluto. Let me see what Pluto is doing. The South Node is conjunct Neptune in its third house. Here, okay, so this one here of releasing something or something he's familiar with, maybe being president before, I'm not sure. It's causing some confusion that could be happening when you have that. Let me see. Just I just think confusion or mixed messages. and it's something he's very comfortable with, but now you're not comfortable because there's confusion there. Uranus, all this is squaring Saturn in Pisces, these planets here. There's so many negative things happening for him while we're voting, just so you know, the day that we're voting. But this energy has been here for a good minute, right? And when you have that, you have unexpected delays, very negative energy when it comes to the voting, because remember, Uranus is about voting, and surprise, you're not going to be winning. There's restriction, there's obstacles, there's social change, there's a group influence here. The North Node is what you're trying to achieve in this lifetime, and now there is a major delay or setback or limitation happening, and you're not quite happy about it. Okay. And then Pisces does represent endings, and this could be the end of his trying to run. I just want you to know that. Okay. Now, I did look at when Trump won and lost, because we are lucky to know that he has both. Okay. When he won, Saturn in Sagittarius went into his fifth house. That meant that there was a shift in government, and it went into Sagittarius, it transited into his fifth house, and then it went into opposing all this energy here. No, conjunct. Saturn in Sagittarius. It went into Sagittarius. I'm looking at my notes, and it conjunct his moon. Oh, okay. It conjunct his moon, which is positive, but then it opposed all these things, but Saturn is not that negative for him as much as Mars is. Okay. And we're going to get into Mars a little bit more. Now, Jupiter was conjunct his Jupiter. That's very lucky. Okay. So that gave him major abundance here. And also, his moon in the fourth house in Scorpio. What does that mean? His moon in his fourth house in Scorpio. Okay, so the moon went into his fourth house, and it was all about the home and the people, because the moon represents the people. The people are like, you are at home. That is when he won. Okay, just so you know. Let me see of when he lost. Let me see if I have my notes here. Okay, when he lost, he had a nodal return. Nodal return, again, is really big. It worked great for Kamala. She had a nodal return when she won, and he was more driven. And I think that's why we had that January 6th, because when you have a nodal return, you are more driven to really get what you want out of life. Like, no, I am destined to do this. What is going on? And he didn't get it. So maybe that's why that January, I'm not trying to throw out excuses. I'm just trying to explain something to you. Okay. Also, when he lost, Venus was conjunct his Neptune. And when you have Venus conjunct his Neptune, that's a lot of confusions when it comes to your support. Maybe this support is a little chaotic into January 16th. Also, Mars is the malefic planet for him, right? And it was retrograding in Aries. Again, Mars is going to really retrograde as we keep going on in a few more days with Trump. And Mars, when he lost, was retrograding in Aries, and Mars is representing that leader, right? Could be the man too. Also, to that, Mars was retrograding in Aries over here, and it was opposing his Jupiter. So there was no abundance. He wasn't getting the healing that he needed. It was very aggressive energy. Saturn also, and in January, Saturn that was in the sky changed into what did it change? It changed into Pisces, which it is in Pisces now, and the government's staying the same. End of the story. Okay, just so you know, that is what happened when he lost, and then we became a Democratic party. Government ran, and now we are staying that way because that is what we have now. If we look at his progress chart, Trump progress chart is, I'm over here showing you the chart, you're not even looking at it. My bad. Anyway, but his progress chart is that his moon sign turned into Scorpio, and when your moon turns into Scorpio, there is a transition happening of power. That is how happening now. The sun turned into Virgo. I think there's some health issues that we are probably not seeing or don't know about, but there are some health issues there. And also his ascendant has turned into Libra, which is about being more harmonious and balanced. I find that he's not as aggressive when he was debating. It was a little bit more calm. I mean, calm for him, but also maybe there's a more awareness of who's the partner, and that is JD Vance. Okay. Yeah, but that is what we have. But when you have the progress Libra, it's all about his public image. Maybe he's more charming. Maybe he's more a peacemaker, moderator, or collaborator than he was before. That is what we know. Anyway, but his perfection year is that he's turned 78 this year. And 78 is about that 12th house. And when you have the, not the 12th house, it rules that 7th house here. And the 7th house, the ruler of his 7th house, let me see, is Saturn. So you look at Saturn and it's in that 12th house of endings. Okay. So again, this year is about endings for him. 12th house represent a lot: secrets, illusions, endings, corruption, death as well. Okay. There's some other things, but yeah, it's also sitting there and it's conjunct Venus. Venus could represent a partner. I for some reason think JD Vance is a little shady for him. Tim Watts is different for Kamala. They might be on the same page, but I don't think JD Vance is great, okay, as a leader, as a persona, but the partnership of some sort. My intuition never lies. Okay, it's just not that great. Anyway, but endings of a female is what that could represent too. Just so you know. Yeah, let me pull a tarot card for Trump. Oh, let me just say JD Vance, we do have a time for it. Let me pull up JD Vance real quick. I didn't see much for JD Vance. The day of the election for JD is that, let me move Trump here. The day of the election is that we do have Uranus sitting on top of MC. Expect the unexpected. Surprise! Mercury in the sky is conjunct to South Node. That is releasing something. Something needs to be released. Where is Mercury? Sitting right there. Mercury moves pretty fast too. So it's sitting there and it's like you need to release. I do think JD Vance will be fine. I just don't think he's going to win. Same as Trump, Mars retrograding, which I didn't talk about. And so let me bring this up with Trump too. This Mars retrograding. First of all, when it comes to JD Vance, as we keep moving, and I'll do weeks, okay? As we keep moving, Mars is going to get close to JD Vance's 12th house of endings, and it's retrograding in assigned leadership. So you see that's affecting JD Vance. Now, if we go to Trump, and I want you to see why I think Trump will be losing. If we go to Trump and it's retrograding, and that first house is all about him getting close to the power of transformation. Okay, Pluto, transformation, endings, rebirth, power, obsession of power. That is not working to the best of him. And then it gets back on top of these personal planets here: Venus, Saturn, and Mars is his malefic planet. Mars is really strong for him, and it's retrograding in the sign Leo, and it's touching his personal planets. I think that's really, really big. I would do a whole video on my theories on that alone, but just to let you know, because we see that it's not working for him. And if you're talking about during inauguration, he's got some drama of some sort that we cannot see, where Miss Kamala, if you go to Kamala, because yeah, sure, everyone's dealing with the Mars in retrograde. She's sitting on stage. She's got support on stage. She's got more responsibility on stage. There may be some confusion and lying here that could be happening, but her North Node is also sitting here on stage. Okay, this is what you're supposed to achieve in this lifetime, is sitting here. It's all positive for her, and she still has that Jupiter in that first house, all about her. Okay, versus Trump. Trump is just not good. Okay, this is just negative. He has some unexpected things happening in his main persona on stage here, and then sitting here, you're talking about his open enemy, which you cannot see. Let me move it. His open enemy here is got the power now. The power has shifted. Pluto has entered Aquarius and it has entered the building. Okay. Now, let me pull a card on Trump here. And for Trump, we have he's blinded. He feels like he's in a cage. He feels like he's in prison. I do want you to understand that that's what that 12th house represents. It also represents prison too. But he feels like he's locked up. I've been locked up. Can't let me out. He feels locked up. Something he cannot see. It could be something mental, or the words, or some emails, some letters of some sort. We have the Black Moon, Lilith in Virgo. Oh, okay. So maybe he's in a hospital. Virgo does represent health. I do want you to understand that. And this card is saying that there is some health here. And it says release perfection, but I'm seeing the Virgo. The Virgo stands out to me. That's the outcome. I just jumped to the outcome, but let me just pull a card on his campaign. What is the strength of his campaign? That it's not up and down. You get a consistency. You know what you get with Trump. Okay. Doesn't seem like he's changing much new things. He did add something with his campaign with the abortions. I don't know if that's new, because I think Trump used to be a Democrat who changed to be the blood. That's why, just, what's the difference with him? But I don't think. I think his campaign has pretty much been consistent. There hasn't been any ups and downs. That was the strength for his campaign. Added to, he is trying to. There's separation here. Oh, this card is very interesting. Division and integration. Division and integration. I'm going to read this. Hold up. This wasn't supposed to be that long, you guys. 35. I can't help myself. It's time to identify what in your life no longer aligns, what belongs in the new world you are creating. When the separation oracle card comes up, you have important decisions to make when you go through internal growth. The strength is that he had internal growth. He had to make some decisions here. What is a decision? Disturbed. I need to pull another card, a clarification card, okay? Because it's not, Capricorn. Okay, so it looks like he was trying to have, Capricorn makes me think there was limitations on the things he can do far as like decisions he can make. But this is supposed to be a strength. Capricorn is all about the long-term goals. Long term, I can't find the strength. Capricorn is very serious. It's about long term goals, okay, and it's very elderly kind of energy. And now when you have it with separation, is this because he's trying to do the strength is, I got it, y'all. The strength is that Capricorn is about limitations and borders. What are we talking about? Borders, separate the immigrants. Okay, so this was the strength that he had, and he's been consistently talking about that. There's been no ups and downs on that. Now the weakness that we have here is that is this card in reverse? Is in reverse. So the weakness that we have here is there is no further research. He's not doing anything new. He's not thinking about the bigger picture. That is what you have for the weakness. And also he needs to release. Oh, isn't that a pretty card? He needs to release the nodes of the moon, release, clear, and align. He's not releasing things. He needs to release the power, okay, you guys? It's not happening. Okay, I already set the outcome. I already talked about JD. Let me pull a card for JD. JD is not living in fear. Okay, this is usually like darkness, the moon, but he doesn't have any fear. He's not emotional. He is going to be fine. Okay. Yeah, that is what I have. And let me pull a card on the people who are worried about Trump or how they should feel about Trump. It's got the Three of Cups, not in reverse. So people, this is not about going in the streets celebrating support. Maybe there will be no support. Okay, I'm trying to think how that is. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking this Three of Cups in reverse is that maybe you should reevaluate or reconnect with a support system, or maybe it's a time to reflect on some self-care and taking care of yourself. Maybe don't overindulge, or don't drink. Okay. Yeah, reevaluate your social circle or your support system. Rekindle some relationships with some old friends or some female friends. Maybe set some boundaries. Okay. Or maybe seek solitude. Okay. That is the advice if you are voting for Trump and it didn't work, or if you did vote for Trump and it worked. Yeah, that is what we have. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Okay, you guys, thank you for watching. I went over everything. If you did not know, again, last thing to say is that Kamala's going to win. I think she's going to win, not because of just the stars. I mean, not just because of the tarot cards that I did the reading. I think she's going to win because all the stars align for her. My story is still out on Tim Walz, really more on JD Vance. Tim Walz, I think it's more obvious, even though I don't know how his birth time. If you guys have his birth time, please give that to me. I would love to have it. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.